Hello and welcome back. We're discussing Everton versus Chelsea. 2-2 draw, as you can see on the screen. What a game by Everton. I mean, backs against the wall yet again. We went down twice, and we've done something that we basically couldn't do all season. We've had games where we've, had to hold on to leads and haven't even been able to do that. So being able to respond twice after facing a deficit away from home, a place or places where we haven't been able to win all season, that is a huge plus. And we talk about Sean Dyche talking about constantly taking steps. Every single game, there needs to be improvement shown. Today, doing exactly what we've just said is one of those steps, one of those, areas of improvement we needed to, work on. And we've done that exceptionally well. This is a sign of growth. And the major talking point out of today's game is Ellis Simms, who had not scored a goal until today and is clutched up extremely here. But the goal, it almost was as if, his touch was that heavy that he actually could use it to his advantage to get past Koulibaly. And whilst it was a bit questionable, the goalkeeping by Kepa, it doesn't really matter. As long as the ball's in the back of the net, that's all that matters. And, I really liked the tactical sub because Dyche could have gone with Mope. And he also could have brought on a Tom Davies, but he decided, well, we're going to get two strikers on. We're going to play more attacking. And that sort of, exemplifies the fact that, it's easier to make subs when you're losing as opposed to when you're winning, because you've got a lot more options when you're up and you can get into a little bit of comfort. I think Chelsea actually showed that today with their subs. They didn't really bring on the right personnel. The game hadn't, been put away, and ultimately we were able to capitalize on that. But even Mykolenko coming in the game, he was a part of that play that got us the second goal. He was the guy that play made for Doucouré, and Doucouré was able to also do some playmaking to get Ellis Simms ahead. So, obviously our bench isn't great, but it feels good to say that a sub has actually made an impact. I think it's the first time this season I could really say that. Now, look, for those people saying that Ellis Simms now has to start every game this season, the rest of the way, I think that's outrageous. I do think, though, that this is going to instill confidence in fans to know that there is a player in there alongside, himself. There's going to be more confidence with him and his game now because he knows that he can contribute at the top level. And that's only going to put him in good stead for the future. Now, I've nominated two players for my man of the match today. The first one is James Tarkowski. Very disciplined today. I think some people said that the only thing he did wrong was the penalty, which I don't even think was his fault. So I think it was a pretty flawless game by him. There was a couple opportunities for Chelsea to, get on the attack. They were on the breakaway, and James Tarkowski absolutely made sure that that ball was sent well into the bleachers. And there were a number of key blocks in there as well. We were under duress, especially in the early going, and then sort of in the latter stages, in that middle portion of that second half. I felt like that, they had, the run of play. So we were able to defensively be sound in that time, and I think James Tarkowski led the way there. But the man of the moment as well is probably Abdoulaye Doucouré. He was everywhere. Obviously scored a goal and had an assist as well. It's sort of hard to go past a play like that in such an important game, given the circumstances. But that being said, he did a lot of other good things. There were a couple key passes in there. And obviously he's a workhorse. He was the guy that was pressing up on those Chelsea defenders and trying to, turn the ball over. Sometimes that was successful. But, that running between the boxes was pretty superb. And I've got to give him props. Obviously, if he was the player of the game, he's going to be the best midfielder, but I think he was, a class above today. It sort of seems like we're getting the early Rafa form as well. 2 goals in 3 games. Obviously, the way in which it happened is probably not very clean and, impressive, but it's the fact that the goals are actually happening and he's getting on the score sheet and he's providing that attacking prowess that we've been longing for. That's what we paid for. Now, Ben Godfrey is a player I want to really discuss because I think he turned the ball over quite carelessly a lot of the time today. And some of those times we were punished, or, the counter-attacking opportunity was there. And we know that sometimes we don't tend to cope too well. Now, I know he's got pace, and I can appreciate a tall centre-back. He's not tall, but a centre-back who's got pace. But whether or not that compensates for all the mistakes he's been making, especially in this game, I'm not really sure. I mean, we can also talk about the penalty, which, was costly. And I think Ben Godfrey was probably the guy that, needs to be held accountable for that goal being conceded, because he seemed like he was going through the motions in that moment. I mean, the ball was there to be won. He sort of, was a bit standoffish, and we know the result. So whether we want to, be happy to take a couple mistakes if he's going to apply that pace, and sort of, prevent the impact of wingers and faster wingers for that matter, I'm not really sure. You can be the judge of that one. Look, ultimately, though, I think we were pretty sound defensively, irrespective of the stats, whether Chelsea dominated or not. I think we stuck to the game plan quite well, and we've been seeming to do that. That seems to be a common trend in recent weeks. It's sort of baffling for a team of Chelsea's caliber, especially with their dribbling, some of their link-up. It's quite amazing that the goals they scored were the ones they scored, because, they weren't clean at all. They weren't convincing, but, sometimes that's just the way things go. And look, it's quite remarkable. I mean, we talk about resilience, coming back from behind twice in a game. It's difficult enough doing it once, but having to do it again, you've obviously got to fight those mental demons further. And I think if we look back at the start of the game, not really having any of the ball in the first 25, then we sort of eased in as the game wore on. We had some more looks. I mean, Chelsea are one of the most vulnerable set-piece teams, and we were able to exploit that, and we got a goal from that. I think that's one thing that's really been a point of growth for us as well. We've been able to capitalize on weaknesses of other teams. In previous weeks, we've seen us losing to Southampton, to Wolves, to Bournemouth, and, there's weaknesses aplenty with those teams. And to be able to exploit a Chelsea team who have some world-class players is very impressive. And we weren't doing that weeks ago against much lower teams. So, this is exciting. And now we have a 2-week break. We're going to face Antonio Conte's Tottenham next. I think this period of time is going to be a great, little break for the team. A time to regroup, a time to consolidate on executing our system and our game plan, finding areas of improvement and acting upon those, and then also getting some players back up to match fitness. I mean, DCL is the most clear one, but you've also got Patterson, you've got Garner, you've got some other players that can contribute in some good ways. So if we can get those guys match fit, then I think we'll be okay. If this Dyche tenure has proven anything to me, it's that barring major collapse, I think we'll be okay. And I don't think that Sean Dyche is going to allow collapse to happen. It always seems like he's got vitals monitored, and is making sure that every little thing that needs to be fixed is fixed as soon as possible. There's not really any ignorance being demonstrated there. I mean, Sean Dyche has been a masterstroke in terms of as far as coaching acquisitions go. I mean, you look at all the other teams that have, lost managers and have given managers the sack. I'm very grateful that we've got Sean Dyche. At first, I was critical about the appointment because it seemed the same old, boring, uninspiring option. But he's done everything that this team needs and what fans have asked for. I mean, we're getting results when we shouldn't. We're getting results full stop. Week in, week out, we're putting, 100% effort on the pitch. That's all we want to see. I mean, I say it every single week. That's all we want to see. We just want to see these guys play for the shirt and be proud to be an Evertonian when playing the game. So that'll do it from me. Make sure to share your thoughts about the game. Drop a like and subscribe. We're back next week or in 2 weeks' time for Everton Tottenham. Should be good, at least if recent results are anything to go by, but that'll do it. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.